All right, recording now. All right, man. So, yeah, dude. So, I don't even. Yeah, Cody. Your name's Cody. So,
Yeah.
for everyone listening, I obviously with all of my completely unrelated guests, I always just kind of find someone that does anything remotely interesting or whatever tickles my fancy that day. And I was looking at like pictures of like big ass dump trucks. I was like, I'm just gonna go to like the Reddit like construction sub, find anyone that operates heavy machinery. You told me, you're like, yeah, man, that's me. So like, what what is like the biggest machine you've ever operated?
Probably like a Cat 320. It's nothing terribly huge. It's a low drill we
I don't
use
know.
to install foundations.
I don't know what a Cat 320 even is.
So basically, it's an excavator that's been modified to have a drill on the front of it,
Jesus.
and we use that to drill foundation pilings for the signs that go over the highway.
Yeah.
They're generally like 54, 58 inches in diameter, 17 to 20 feet deep.
Jesus Christ.
So this thing runs like a massive 4.5 foot coring barrel down into the earth and breaks up all the rock for us.
Jesus Christ. Is that thing like, does it feel like you're riding a dragon?
Definitely, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I mean, like when I like drive like a four-wheeler, I feel like I've got the power of God in my hands. I've always thought like that must be insane. Actually having machinery that can like fuck shit up, to put it informally.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a curve there where you're like, oh God, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody for a good long while there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah. I didn't know this, but in like the 50s and 60s, they actually had construction equipment in like a this like almost like pop-up garage, this nuclear hardened garage right near the White House. And it was for if the Soviets, because it was right after World War II. And it was for if like atomic bombs missed their mark but still fucked up all of DC and then demolished the White House. There was actually a core of people like on standby 24/7 that were gonna literally dig out the president. Like that was what their job was.
Kind of a cool job.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a terrifying job, but like,
well, yeah, you're definitely gonna die doing that.
Like, you're absolutely gonna die doing it. Well, I think it started under Truman because they had like a bunker underneath the White House. That was like the first one, and then they figured, they're like, well, the logic went, well, what good is it if we're just in like an expensive stately tomb? Right. Like what does it matter? Like what, like, king of what? You have to be king of something. And that's eventually what led to the creation of the internet through DARPA. Was they needed a way to connect all these separate bunkers in a nuclear apocalypse across the nation. But 20 years before that, when it was just, like 1947, 48, they were literally like, so if a bomb goes off and it demolishes everything, we got to be able to dig out the president. And so, yeah, there was actually like, it was a thing that was submerged underground, and in the case of an apocalypse, it was going to rise up, and there was literally like painted like the army, like camo green. They were going to come out and dig out the president.
That is wicked cool.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, and the thing is they eventually I think they got rid of it under Eisenhower, or I think it was Eisenhower, because that's when they went from atomic bombs to thermonuclear bombs. And they were like, there's just not going to be anything. There's not going to be any rubble. It's just it's going to be dust. So they got rid of it. But yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing that not a lot of people know is, even at all, like the like AT&T was and still is like in bed with the Pentagon, because they had all of these things across the entire United States. And it was, again, how do we stay connected after a thermonuclear war? And they had all of these like antennas that would come out of the ground after the initial blast. But all of these things, Yeah, and well, the cover was it's AT&T, so no one questions it if they're building these big ass fucking antennas in the middle of the woods.
Right.
You know, if you see FBI vans out there and you're a communist spy or communist sympathizer, you're going to be like, "Hey, what's that?" But if it's just
Yeah.
AT&T, you know, you're like, "Yeah, they're building big ass towers out in the woods. It's par for the course."
Well, that's the big joke. Like, oftentimes, well, I shouldn't say oftentimes, but occasionally our construction sites will get robbed. And if you go and look at the surveillance, it's always a guy in a vest and a hard hat, just because nobody questions.
Yeah, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah,
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5, man. That's literally one of the missions. You have to go on
yeah.
to the site and kill the architect
Hmm.
and get the plans. And Franklin's walking onto the place with like a gun, and the guy's like, "Hey, dumbass, you need a hard hat." And it's just like gets right on and goes right on his merry way. Oh, you froze up. Good, are you there?
Hello.
There you are. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool.
Um, yeah, but like it's just I don't know. That seems like it's just like a weird thing that no one ever not really thinks about, but it's like in all the contingency plans for thermonuclear war, the first things they had these almost like a missile silo. The top would go to the side, and all these antennas would come out, and it was so they could contact after the explosion. But right next to the antennas, there was always like sort of like a pop up garage, you know, with like a 10-foot thick, you know,
Yeah,
concrete ceiling. But they all had construction fleets, and it's like you know, you think about like, you know, nuclear bunkers, you think it's all, you know, super high tech James Bond shit. But apparently one of like the biggest expenses was they all had construction equipment because it was just like everything is going to be decimated and the only way you're going to get out is with this. So there are guys literally just that operated machinery but had like TSSCI, top secret secure compartmented intelligence clearances because all they knew
huh.
is if they're right here and something goes off, like you're going to be digging out the president or you're going to be digging out, you know, the Secretary of Defense or something. That always just blew my mind. But not to go on.
Yeah, no, that's kind of. I mean, imagine how you get that sort of a guy,
Yeah,
because it's hard for us to find operators that are clean and sober,
yeah,
much less like for security clearances.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what they would. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Because how do they even get those guys? And apparently, they would go in. They'd literally like see who their parents were. You know, are you a communist? They'd
Mhm.
ask your neighbors about you. Are you a good patriotic American? But yeah, they had these jobs, and dude, they had jobs that were even for so for like water trucks, just to maintain the illusion that these big antennas they were erecting and with the contingency uh,
Mhm.
construction crews, they just to not have prying eyes,
Right.
they would be up there for. I mean, these things they were sealed. You know, I mean, I'm sure you know,
Right.
called buttoned up. It means sealed from the environment. And well, if they have these things up there and they have these roads going up and there's restricted land, you know, how many cell phone towers do you walk near in the woods and there's a marine contingent around, right?
Right. Yeah.
And not only that, they'd go up there and there'd be parking lots for like 200 cars, but there'd be one little shack and nothing else. And I'd be like, well, there's clearly a bunker. So that's
Right. Yeah.
they,
Like, what
they
the
li-
hell is this?
yeah. So they literally used to hire construction companies and water companies just to drive their trucks up and down the roads, just in case there were any spies, just so it looked normal.
That's kind of cool. That's smart thinking. That's
Yeah,
like
that's
above
why.
and beyond.
Yeah, that's why they're the top. But that always
Right.
makes me think like that sounds like a crazy like tinfoil hat conspiracy, but now it's like you know it's in a book called Raven Rock, and it's all from like the 50s. But think,
Huh.
man, there's probably some poor sucker in the 50s that was like, I swear to God, they're
Huh?
they're hiring construction companies, and I'm not, you know, all right, man, you're
Yeah,
fucking
you're
high.
crazy.
No,
Yep.
no, there are thermonuclear bombs. Like Eisenhower was visiting. Like, all right, dude. All right, dude. But yeah, man, that always blows my mind. Anyway, so not to go on a crazy
No,
thermonuclear.
you're good. Hey, real quick, do you mind if I smoke on this thing? Is that cool?
I don't give a shit.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, none at all, dude. Yeah, no, not at all, dude. You can't smoke cigarettes. No, I don't care, man. It's It's yeah. So have you ever operated one of those like big ass dump trucks?
I mean, how big are you talking?
Well, I mean, a normal dump truck is already insanely big. For
Right.
someone that drives like a Honda Civic, like that
Okay.
already, yeah,
So I've run a couple of bigger dumps, but nothing huge like what you'd see like in mining operations, you know.
yeah,
Those are super cool. Like the tires on some of those are as tall as three people, you know.
yeah, they're
Like
insane.
18 feet tall tires, 4 yard buckets on the excavators that load them.
Yeah,
So
that's
a yard is 27 cubic feet.
yeah.
So a hair over 100 cubic feet
Yeah.
per scoop with that machine.
Jesus, have you ever seen the Bagger 288?
No.
Yeah. It's that German construction machine. It's you've probably seen pictures of it.
Huh.
If you see it, you'll recognize it. But it's got like the spinning wheel, and it's got like a
Oh yeah,
hundred.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The
it
bucket
has
trimmers. Yeah.
it has treads. It has like 11 treads. It literally has like a shack on the bottom for the employees, and
Yep.
they just it's so big that they don't they transport it, but what they do is they just flatten the land in front of it as the thing
Right.
just drives. Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking, like, have you ever seen like a couple of years ago when or not? I guess it's been more than a couple of years. But remember when like ISIS was getting like really big? Like it was,
Right.
yeah. It One of the things they were doing was they always have videos on like Live Leak, but it was they were getting those big ass dump trucks and they were turning those into car bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're filling those things up with, filling those to the brim with like C4. And apparently it's yeah, because you could get so much that like it didn't matter if you were shot by a sniper as long as you got within like 500 yards of your target.
Yeah. You were good.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's fucked up. That's what I always think is like, if you really wanted to just go insane with like a construction vehicle, like, you know, what if
So
someone
have you
snaps?
heard of Killdozer?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you enlighten the people listening who haven't heard of
so
Killdozer?
essentially, this man owned a small muffler shop, and another man came in and bought property between this man's muffler shop and the road and denied him access to his muffler shop. And in response, he got very, very pissed off. He took an old bulldozer, he made armor for it. I believe it was a foot and a half thick, 3/8 steel plates filled with concrete. And then he installed cameras around the outside, covered them in bulletproof glass,
Yeah.
added air compressors to blow them off.
Yeah.
And so once all this was done, he got a bunch of guns, got into the bulldozer, and used a remote control crane to lower the armor over himself and went on a rampage, like wiped out City Hall, wiped out local politicians' houses that
Yeah.
had been on the zoning board and voted against him.
Yeah.
So they're trying to stop him for like an hour. No, it was like 4 hours, I believe.
Yeah.
They spent trying to stop him. You know, they're throwing smoke grenades down the tailpipe of this thing, and they can't get to him because there's nothing. Like the governor of Colorado is debating bringing in a Black Hawk
Yeah.
armed with missiles.
He wanted them to come in and blow the fuck out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it was so engineered. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently in like the smokestack vents, he had like outlets like the Germans would do in World War II. They had
yeah,
for their pillboxes. Because they're fucking amazing engineers. If you drop grenades in them, it had like a separator, and so it actually come back out instead of going in.
yep,
He had that. Yeah, I think he had like a long range rifle. I don't know, like maybe like a hunting rifle. They said he had a couple pistols, a couple machine guns. Yeah, but he had bulletproof glass on the cameras that he was using to look around. And yeah, he had air compressors in case they just tried to like block it with debris or
yeah.
dust or whatever. Yeah, and yeah, what's the name of that channel? That another guy's name was Marvin Heemeyer. The video I watched
Mhm.
is the guy with like an Irish accent. That's the one I watched. But yeah, he's like narrating it. And yeah, the governor literally wanted to bring in helicopters to shoot it with Hellfire missiles. And I think he realized that that would look terrible. That would be bad optics. But that's that's crazy because that's a guy where, from what I can tell from it, not that I have any experience with him, but from what I've read, like that seems like a reasonable guy that was
Just
driven
pushed
to
to
be
the edge.
unreasonable. Yeah,
Yeah.
they blocked off the I think they blocked off like the right of way to his property.
And then they
They
cut off his sewer line as
cut off the
well,
sewer lines and then
and then
sued
started
him
citing him for not
for
having
not
a
having
sewer
it.
line.
Yeah. Yeah, and he went to city hall. He petitioned. He made like legal claims, and they just kept pushing him, and I mean, ruined his livelihood. And he
Yeah.
finally just was like, a reasonable man was pushed to an unreasonable state. And I don't think he killed anyone. He killed himself.
No,
He killed
killed
himself.
himself.
Yeah, when he the tread got stuck or something, and the SWAT team
Yeah.
was
So
firing at him.
there was a hardware store owner that sat on the zoning board. And so he plowed down the hardware store, and when he did, one of his treads fell into the basement of the hardware store.
Yeah, dude.
That's, I think,
Yeah,
the most amazing part about that story is they didn't get him; he got himself. You
yeah.
know?
Because it stopped, and apparently they're trying to get him out. And mind you, this whole time the SWAT team was unloading on him, like
Mm-hmm.
not cops, like SWAT teams, like full on just shooting at him. Nothing was happening,
Yep.
and yeah, when the fire they were trying to get him out, they couldn't get him out, and they just heard a single gunshot, and he killed himself. But even then, when
I
they
think it took him like 6 hours. I know it took them longer than he was on his
yeah
rampage to
yeah
cut into the machine.
yeah, well, because I think they tried to use breaching charges, and that
Yeah.
didn't do anything. They finally had to bring in I think they finally had to bring in like a search and rescue team who was equipped to like, you know, get like crashed helicopter pilots because
Right.
they used those like insanely expensive like acetylene like plasma torches, and that's how they
Yep.
got them out. But it makes you think, man, what if that tread hadn't got caught?
Oh
Like,
yeah. No, he was gonna keep going.
like I mean, so that gets me thinking. Like, do you remember that guy in San Diego in like the '90s that got that tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even he was stopped because he tried to run over the median and he got
Right.
stuck. They
Yeah.
opened
It's the
the top and
dumbest
just
things.
shot him. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you've ever watched that video on YouTube. Have you ever seen the comment section where it's like typical American cops shooting, shoot first, ask questions later. And it's like
He's
he's
literally
in a
got a tank.
tank. He's in a tank driving over parked cars and going in the wrong way on the freeway. He tried to take out an overpass.
Yeah.
He started ramming into it, and yeah, you have all these armchair quarterbacks just like stupid American cops. Oh, shoot first, ask questions later. He's in
Yeah.
a
How dare they? He wasn't doing anything wrong.
yeah, KKK, yeah. It's This dude literally was in a stolen tank. He was in like a Sherman or something. But that got me thinking, like, so with this ISIS video, one of the things they had wasn't I think the technical term for a car bomb is an SVB IED. I don't remember what the something vehicle borne improvised explosive device. Um, but one of the things they had was it wasn't for car bombs. It was actually for like, because ISIS went full on like Lord of the Rings, like Middle Earth. They were just like sieging towns.
Right.
Like, I mean, fucking literally went Middle Earth. But one of the siege weapons they had was one of those huge Caterpillar dump trucks, and they plated the whole thing in like armor. And they would just use this to like drive through checkpoints, like drive through like local police stations or like, barracks.
Right. Yeah. You're done.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes you think, man, like who's the next Marvin Heemeyer? Like, because surely, because I mean, it's only a matter of time. Someone will be. By the way, if you can't tell, there's absolutely no direction to these podcasts. I just
Right. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but it makes you think like, what if someone actually, tried to go on like a Marvin, like a Killdozer part two? Like, like
I I probably shouldn't help advertise for it, but I can tell you that construction equipment is not incredibly difficult to get your hands on. Like they
yeah.
all have, it's not like your car where it's a unique ignition. They're all standardized and you can buy the keys online.
Oh, Jesus.
Like $13 will get you enough
Oh,
keys to run any piece of equipment that exists.
oh, Jesus. Yeah. Like, I mean, do you need a special license to get one of those like two-story tall dump trucks?
No, no, it's just a commercial driver's license. And most of the guys that I know that run those don't even have that because they're run entirely on private property.
Yeah.
Because
Gee.
mines are, not
Oh,
an
yeah.
active roadway.
That's true. Yeah, man. I mean, think if you got the biggest one of those and you really, I mean, what was that terrorist attack in Nice, France, right? That was
Yeah,
2016 or
they use,
17. 86 dead. The guy just had like a U-Haul
yep.
plowed through a crowd. I mean, not to get morbid, but like if you got one of those fucking huge caterpillars and you just went on a rampage, like how the hell would
I
they
feel
stop
like
you? What?
yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you got, because how would they, I mean, you would need a sharpshooter, right? That's the only way you could get it.
Yeah, those things will run on rims forever, They, and the tires are, north of 4 or 5 inches thick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and not to mention just, they're literally like, it's not even a ladder. There's a legitimate like a
Staircase. Yep.
staircase to get to the top. Yeah, man. How much does that stuff cost?
Oh, it's big money.
Like
You're
millions?
Yeah, you're probably talking just a hair north of a million, I believe, for
Oh,
like a quarry loader, brand new.
Jesus. Would for like construction and stuff, you got to think they just kind of like how we talked about the nuclear bunkers, how they had to have them, so you can have all these, these military masterminds who are, the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They're they're incredibly educated in this stuff. They are, but ultimately, like a lot of them, like they aren't fighters. Like they know how to run an army, and it's like they can
Right.
have these tactical bunkers, but like even them, like they don't know how to work construction material. So
Right.
you got to think, man. There's probably going to be a need for like heavy vehicle operators on Mars.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
Would you ever do that?
That's I mean, maybe if it wasn't like a one-way ticket,
Yeah,
if we get to the point where it's a reasonable I guess what is really a reasonable commute to Mars, but
9 months.
fucking yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
that's that is kind of a weird selling point, man. Like one thing I've thought is like, let's say it is a one way ticket, which I believe is what the initial operation is going to be. What is who are the police?
Yeah,
Who?
no, that's a good question. And I guess what would matter the most is what country is in it. Like, if we're just looking for a do-over of fucking Earth where we, kind of decimated everything and then dipped out,
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to be a part of that.
yeah, yeah. That is true. Yeah, just yeah. Plan B, Planet B. Yeah, because I talked about that with some other guy. I was like, what is because like what is the structure of what would be society there? I mean, if so, Musk wants to send over 1,000 starships at once with 100 people on each. So 100,000 people, 9 months away. Yeah, what happens when there's domestic abuse? What happens when there's you
Yeah.
know, what happens when there's rape? What there's got to be a police force, right? So that's just got me wondering. Is like,
Oh, 100%.
yeah, it's like there's going to be a lot of like it's not going to be like the moon like the Apollo programs, where it was like they took the cream of the crop, like they took the cream of the cream of the, they like the top, because you had to be able to
Right.
pilot this shit. Setting up a new civilization, it's kind of going to almost be like, it's going to be like almost everyone gets a participation trophy. Like you're going to need everyone, right?
Right.
Like you're going to have doctors and engineers, but you're also going to have people that, you know how to grow plants, that you're going to have cops. That's got me wondering, like, who's to say that once you get there that they don't, because we went really in depth in this on another podcast, but like, you got to think, if there's like a 9 month, or if Earth is 9 months away, even with radio, it's like 7 minutes or something. You got to think, like,
Right.
how long are they going to take orders from Earth? At what point are they going to feel like the colony is going against Britain? Like, fuck you, you're not
Right.
over
No,
here.
100%.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I feel like that is going to be the biggest uh barrier to all of it. I feel like it's not going to be like physically getting there. It's going to be with the psychological impact of traveling 9 months stuck in a can, knowing that you're not going back. You know, it's like what people who survive jumping off bridges say in suicide attempts. They say, like, as soon as I jumped, uh, I felt instant regret. Like the second I jumped, and they're like, thank God I lived.
Right.
How many people are just gonna freak the fuck out the second this thing leaves orbit? Right? Like,
Oh,
one
no,
away, gone.
100%.
You're going off into the inky blackness. There's gonna be so many things that I don't think we are prepared for. Psychological trip, police.
See, that's my big problem with a one-way ticket is like I buy a phone sometimes and don't like it, or it's got issues, you
Yeah,
know? I
yeah.
want to see that somebody else has done this successfully before.
It's a perfect analogy. I've bought phones before and not liked it. Yeah. It's because there's no one else, there's nothing to base it on.
Right.
It's almost like, like, you don't really mind getting on a plane because it's like, how many tens of thousands of flights are there a day? It's
Right.
the Wright brothers go up there. Everyone's like, you go first, bro.
Yeah. No.
I'm right here. I'm right here. It's like the quote, everyone wants to be first to be second. It's like, I'm right here, bro.
Yep.
Like, you fly first because, it's 1902. You guys are wearing top hats and this thing's made out of paper mache. But like, but like, yeah, but then again, I guess you got to be like in a special kind of person or in like a unique place to want to volunteer to go to Mars. And I imagine if you're making that volunteer, you're making that trip, you probably don't want to be second. You're like, if I'm going to do this, I at least want to be part of, like, the Mayflower, right? Dude, I'm going off on a complete tangent. I'm sorry. I've been
No, you're good, brother.
I've been word
Your
vomiting
podcast.
for 30 minutes. No, man. I hear myself talking off every day. What's is there like a specific type of construction that, like, you aspire to get into? Like, is there, like, if you had your way?
I mean, I always thought it'd be cool to build dams, which is real
Oh,
weird
yeah.
because I don't like the fact that a lot of dams exist. They really like ruin
They ruin
river ecosystems, and but it's just or like working inside of cofferdams when they're building the bridges. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Like, so basically, you'll go in and you'll drive a steel wall into the ocean,
Okay.
and then you add 3 more and pump the water out, and you then have a dry-ish surface to work on.
Okay.
Oftentimes, you're 100 feet down in this cofferdam with just the steel holding back the water. That seems kind of cool.
Jesus, man, that seems kind of anxiety-inducing. Yeah. Have you done that before?
No. I've
How,
just seen it.
how would you get into it?
By boat, generally.
Yeah. No. I mean, like, how? Not literally. I mean, how would you get into that field of
Oh, I
construction?
have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
Have you looked into it?
Not a ton,
I
but
think you need to, man. I think you need
that's
to.
something that I always thought would be wicked, wicked cool.
Yeah, what actually interests you the most about it? Just, like, the placing of the walls or just, like, the sort of, like, holding back the forces of Mother Nature?
A, holding back the forces of Mother Nature, and then
Fuck yeah,
B, those are always involved when you're building really cool shit.
that's true, yeah.
So, like, the footings for the Golden Gate Bridge were built that way, for instance, you know?
Oh,
Things,
shit. I guess I
yeah.
never thought about that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
real hard. You can't just pour concrete into the ocean and build a footing.
I always figured that they had just, like I don't know why I never thought about that. I just always figured they built, they'd go out on, like, a barge or something with, like, the general footprint of concrete and just sink it and then just stack another on top of it until it or or put, like a tube down, maybe,
Right.
like a is I feel like that's probably a method, right? You put,
Well,
like,
I
the
mean, yeah,
cast.
yeah. The problem is when you start getting into those massive bridges,
Yeah,
you need so much concrete that it's just infeasible to float it out there precast.
yeah, yeah, that's true. What about have you ever thought about doing something like skyscrapers?
Yeah, I'd be all about that. I do a lot of climbing at work already. We do
Okay.
steel erection for those highway signs, so I'm climbing the steel all day.
What about what about something like the Burj Khalifa or the World Trade Center? Talking
Yeah,
1,600 feet up.
yeah, that I don't know about. Been. I've been up 350 feet tied off only, but
Fuck.
I've never been up that high. You know.
I f Fuck that, dude. Dude, I get queasy when I stand on top of a ladder. Um, yeah, so I saw something on the Burj Khalifa where it was like the window washers, I think. And,
Hmm.
Burj Khalifa is 2,812 feet tall, 2,812.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Think about World Trade Center, the original World Trade Centers, those were 1,350 to the roof. So if you stacked both of them on top of each other, it's
Still, yeah, shy.
still 12 feet shy of the Burj Khalifa. You gotta think, man. But so I watched something on the window washers, and it's just some like absurd, surreal, like they're taking the elevator and they're filming it, and it's like floor 184 or something.
Mm.
But they talked about these guys they're all very, I don't know, they didn't seem too jacked up by it. And they said one of the guys said he's like anything above 10 stories is death. He's like
Right.
anything above 10 stories is death. But I think like every like 20 stories the pay goes up. So it's like fall from 10 floors, fall from 140 floors. He's like, you're
Yeah,
dead
same result.
anyway. Might as well get 7x pay. Yeah. I don't know, man. What's the most so the thing you operate, what is
Hmm.
what is the actual I don't know what the word is, for lack of a better term, tip of the spear, the work end. What is that thing made of? Like if that's
Uh,
grinding through what?
yeah, it's hardened steel. So the the cylinder itself is a fairly hard steel, and then it's got pockets on it that even harder steel teeth go into
Okay.
to kind of rip through everything.
Do you guys use any stuff that's like diamond tipped, like artificial diamond?
Not really for that. We've got like some diamond cutting wheels and things for cutting concrete and stuff like that, but nothing really on a machine.
Jesus. What's shit, man? What's like the most interesting shit you've ever done? Because again, like as someone that drives a Honda Civic, and I feel like a boss when I load up a wheelbarrow without like throwing my back out. Like,
Well, I mean, I guess it really depends on what what you find interesting. The most interesting for me was probably we had a crane flip over. An outrigger failed when it shouldn't have, and so the whole crane tipped over. And then being a part of standing it back up again
Jesus,
was wicked cool.
how do you even do that?
So, have you ever seen? It's called a rotator. It's basically like a massive tow truck with a variety of winches all over it. We brought in three of those,
Oh
and
Jesus.
two of them sort of pulled it back upright, and the third one was on the other side in case it got back upright and wanted to go the other way.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. How tall was the crane?
It was a 50 ton, so it was probably without the boom out 16 feet, with the boom out 48 feet, and the
Jesus.
boom was out when it tipped.
Jesus Christ. Do you know any crane operators?
Yeah, yeah, quite a few.
Do you think you could get me a crane operator to do my podcast?
Possibly they're all old and surly, but yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Old and surly. Yeah, because I tried to find yeah, I tried to find some crane operators and it sounds stupid, but those are actually like the most elusive people. Like,
Well, there just aren't many of them. Like
yeah,
they
that's what
get
I
paid
mean.
$65 an hour, and they're hard to find to give a job to.
Yeah, man, I've had on I've had on more special operations guys than I haven't been able to find crane operators. I've had on Delta Force guys. I've had on Green Berets, but I can't find fucking crane operators. Yeah,
Yeah,
because those dude those give me anxiety. I think that's why I
yeah,
want to have someone. Those scare the fuck out of me.
yeah. We do a ton of crane work. So those signs that I'm installing are between 30 and 40 feet tall, and essentially a pillar on each side of the road, and then a massive steel cross member that,
Yeah.
depending on the style of the sign, actually either looks like a jungle gym or is one solid pipe.
Mhm.
So we go in and set those, and then I'm typically the guy that climbs them while they're on the crane to bolt them in.
Fuck that. Fuck that. Is like the meme really like true that that there is like OSHA is like up every construction site's ass and around the corner, or is that overblown?
Um, Not, no, it's very, very overblown for what we do, but we're mostly road construction. I've heard that it gets bad on like bigger site jobs where they're building an actual building.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, OSHA has so many fucking rules that it's impossible to follow them all and still make money.
Yeah.
So everybody has an OSHA violation.
Yeah. Yeah. It always makes me think of those like guys like building like the Empire State Building.
Yeah,
He's up there like
lunchboxes on the iron beams.
yeah, they're literally just up there like smoking cigarettes like a sledgehammer, no shirt on, and like they had like the teams of riveters. I don't know if you ever seen old videos of
Yeah.
this. They literally, yeah, the one guy's like heating it up with the blowtorch. They literally put it in like another guy was like, I think the name was literally like the thrower. He almost had like a
Mm-hmm.
lacrosse type stick, and he would throw
Yep.
it. And then next to the guy that would, and then there's like I think a 3-man team on the other girder. You had a guy that was like the catcher, literally just had like
Mm-hmm.
this like metal like catcher's glove, like almost like a bucket. They'd catch
Yep.
it. Another guy would pick it up with tongs, and then that guy would just, I don't know if they use sledgehammers or if they had like those like pneumatic like they would just pound it in.
Right.
But you got to think, and a lot of them apparently there was like incentive for there's like you had to do X number of rivets an hour, and then every rivet over you do that is like a penny. This is
Right.
like right after the Great Depression. So you got to think you had all
Mm-hmm.
these guys up there not only doing this but trying to do as many as possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember watching like this old like black and white, like obviously black and white, just like shitty video, but they're like talking to one of the guys down there, and like he's at the base. He's like, yeah, sometimes you miss, and they're all kind of like chuckling. And it's just like, holy shit, they're throwing these like white hot rivets like
Yep.
1,100 feet in the air, and it's just like I guess you just didn't give a fuck back then, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said for moving slow, I guess. I've never been one for it. So I will say the stakes were a lot higher back then. There was no fall protection or anything like that.
Oh yeah, no, it was that yeah, it was there was like a 4 or 5% chance you'd die,
Yeah.
which is insane.
I think the thing that actually made me most comfortable with climbing steel was the first time that I fell, because your gear catches you, and that's that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
Dude, I bet that shot adrenaline through your body.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrifying.
Holy shit. I bet. Yeah, when someone like scares you or something, or if you're a bitch like me and you see like a spider, in that instant, like your limbs almost become light because it's just
Oh
that
yeah.
instant, like that instant norepinephrine just punch right into all your nerves. You just,
Yep.
it's that, and then it starts to go away. I bet that is like lightning through your whole body if you fucking fall.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrifying.
Jesus Christ, dude. I almost have a heart attack when I miss like the bottom stair. Like fucking Christ. Have you ever seen those videos of those guys that climb up like oh, I don't know, just like those like long, like almost like radio masts?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
1,500 feet tall out in like the middle of Montana.
yeah.
They're
Those poor bastards.
held by guide wires.
God bless them. Like they're making nothing money wise.
They don't make a lot?
No, it's like $20 an hour
Why the fuck do they do it?
because they're all from like Virginia and Tennessee, where the cost of living is nothing.
Oh yeah.
They load their kids and their wife up in a travel trailer and make double what they'd make at home.
Sure, okay. I get that. Yeah, there's like a YouTube like POV video of this dude that wears a GoPro and he's going, and I think the video is literally just 2 hours of him climbing.
Yeah,
It's terrifying because
I know for a lot of tower crane operators, the climb up into the crane is longer than the commute to work.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Man, I thought they would have got paid bank though. Because
No, there's no real union representing them, and in construction, unions kind of set the tone for what is
yeah,
acceptable to pay.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've never thought about that. Yeah, it's so like being a construction worker, is it definitely dope to be in like a union? As
Oh
someone
yeah,
who
no,
knows
it's
shit about it,
amazing.
it is. It's just like that's y'all's gang.
My health insurance is free, like
Fuck yeah.
100% free.
Fuck yeah.
I get a pension, I get an annuity, and I get paid, $36 an hour to yell at people.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, man. That's one thing I've always thought is like a union's literally like the power and numbers thing. It's just like fuck
Oh,
off.
100%. Yeah.
But you got to think. Now, is there this is a stupid question, but is there just like one union? Because you got to think there could be another union that would be like, hey, we'll do the same thing for less.
Yeah. So generally it's broken down by trades, and then they cover pretty much most of the developed world. So like the laborers union is LIUNA, which stands for Laborers International, I don't know, something of North America.
Yeah.
The NA is North America. So they cover all of North America.
Jesus.
And so our
Uh,
dues really aren't enough to, it's $30 a month.
Sure.
So it's not enough to dissuade us.
Yeah.
So another laborers union could open up and say, we'll do the same thing for less, and we'd tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to, because that's the only way you can really. Because otherwise, I mean, it would be like Dubai, where they quite literally use like it's not literal, not in the literal sense of literal, but I mean it's like 2 steps removed from slave labor.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard they seize those guys' passports at the border, and you get them back after you've finished your 2 years. And,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's 160 degrees. Like fuck you, go higher. There's a breeze. It's
Yep.
yeah. There's incentives not to report deaths. It's
Yep.
I mean, dude, that is some legitimate, like that's like there's like blood money, there's like blood construction. That's what that entire because dude, you don't create a metropolis that's like 3 times as dense as New York City in 10 years. You don't do
No.
that ethically. It's like
Nope.
it's like that Louis C.K. bit where he's like, you got to think about like what if. He's like, peanut allergies suck. There's
Yep.
so many stipulations we got to take, and all these kids can get so sick if anyone that even touches a peanut, touches the same doorknob. What if we just let it run rampant for a year? All these kids would die. It'd be terrible, but now we'd be finished with it. He's like, shit, man, that's what the pharaohs did. There's no way we're ever going to construct these pyramids. It's 3000 BC. But if, what if we just hurled human suffering at it? Well, like,
yeah, I mean, he's got another really good quote that I like a lot. That was like something to the effect of either we can all ride horses and use candles, or somebody far, far away can live an unspeakably horrible life so that you can post shitty comments to YouTube.
Jesus. Yeah, man, that's something that we don't really like to ever talk about, but it's true.
Right.
It's like,
Oh yeah.
it's like everyone that thinks that like our military is like too big, man, you go ahead. You go with like doing like 5, 6 more minutes.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
It's what people don't understand is like our military is like, the criticism is always like, when's the last like major opponent we fought in a war? Like World War II? Like when's the last like legitimate threat we've had? Why do we need $1 trillion a year defense budget? But like there's something that a lot of people I don't think really examine, and it's what that is it's a deterrent that allows us to go in and control the resources that we want to control and how we want to control them.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
You don't get an iPhone for $500 because that's just how it is. This shit would cost $10,000.
Well,
Like,
just think about how skeevy your cell phone provider is when
yeah.
you're giving them money, and now imagine that they're paying you.
That's true though, dude. You gotta think, man. 90% of the world's rare earth metals. So 30% of the actual physical ore is in China. But because
Yep.
I think because of its I don't know what the right word is. Its depth in the crust and its I think they said normally rare earth metals that you don't find them in like big sort of, it's not like oil wells. Like
Right.
they're
Yeah,
very
they're called rare earth
rare
metals.
earth metals. Yeah, right. But because of just whatever fucking, whoever created the universe has a sense of humor because he gives all the oil to the Middle Easterners, and now fucking China, Hero Priest, they have all the rare earth metals, but they only have 30% of the world's ore, but they have 90% of the world's trade. Like, yeah, dude, like of all people, and like, what do we have? All of our, I mean, literally everything I'm using, microphone, MacBook, cell phone, everything is completely composed for
Yep.
that shit. And it's like, I mean, you think about like Apple, like where is it like? I'd never heard that quote before, but it's brilliant. An unspeakably horrible life. Have you ever seen those Foxconn factories?
Yeah.
Yeah, Foxconn for anyone listening.
Mhm.
They have the employees have to live there. You're literally in like a dorm, like above like the factory where you work, and there are nets outside the windows every couple stories, so you can't commit suicide. Like,
Imagine somebody controlling your life to that point. Like you can't even end it.
you can't kill yourself. Like, think about it. Like, it's so bad that they have these so you can't kill yourself. And that's, but I
Do you
mean,
know how pissed I'd be if I tried to kill myself and somebody was like, "Yeah, no,
no, no,
back
no,
to it."
no, no, none, not even like a loving person stepping in, but
Yeah,
instead,
it's not like we're gonna get you help and make this better.
yeah,
Oh no, you're gonna keep going
no, hey,
when we're
buddy,
done with you.
hey, hey, you don't get a day off this week. That's a no-no. You see right there on the rules on the wall, number 7. What does it clearly say?
Yeah.
Right after
Do
no
not
drinking,
kill
no,
yourself.
no suicide. All right. Say sorry, and like you're punished. Like you're punished. But that's kind of like that really is like the inconvenient truth, though. Is like, so what is our military for? And I'm not shitting on the military. But like it's that deterrent force that allows us to control the flow of resources in the ways that, I mean, dude, America, we are, so what, there's 7.5 billion people in the world. We're at 3 and
Yeah, we're 4% of the population roughly.
yeah, right. Yeah. There's a reason why our level of living is the way it is, and it's not because it's not
It's
because
not because we were nice about it. Yeah, no.
yeah, no, it's that's never worked ever. And but it's so, where does the change come from? The change comes from like, all right, well then are you willing to give it up?
Right.
Like, I'm not. Like, it's terrible, but like, like, I don't want to see those people live like that, but at the same time, like, am I willing to give up like, an air conditioned carpeted home in a nice neighborhood with relatively cheap food?
Right.
That
That's a
that's a
that's a hard
hairy
question to ask yourself,
it's a hairy question, because then it comes up, well, if you show that humanity and sort of give them, 10 times their pay, and their nation becomes prosperous and they build up their military, do you want to be in a position where you hope that they don't subject you to that? Or would you rather be
After
in a
you've spent
position,
60 years doing it to them.
yeah, or would you rather be in the spot of being the subjector?
Yeah, that's a rough question.
It's a hairy question, man, because it's like, and if you don't feel for those people, like, you have no soul. But dude, it's, you know, actions speak louder than words. Like, what change am I willing to do? And no, not posting something on Reddit and being like, everyone unite, some feel good circle jerk. Like,
Right.
what are you really willing to do? You see Reddit shitting on like Jeff Bezos every day, and it's like, we will stop him, we will crush him.
Right after we place this Amazon order.
Right after I placed this Amazon order. Have you bought Whole Foods lately? Owned by Jeff Bezos,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen to a great book on Audible? Jeff Bezos. It's,
and Jeff Bezos was like a great person prior to, like, at least in the internet's eyes, prior to the $15 an hour movement.
Yeah. That's kind of a funny thing, No one really gave a fuck about him until he made $150 billion. You look at a picture of him. You ever seen the Amazon headquarters in 1999?
Yeah.
You seen that picture? It's him in like a fucking closet with a piece of like kindergarten construction paper. And it's literally like, he like cut out and glued Amazon to it. He's sitting there and yeah, man. But it starts to get weird, man.
I really think things are going to get weird when Amazon eventually unionizes. I think that's about the only way they have left to go.
Yeah.
Unless it's a real threat, you don't dump as much money into union busting as he has.
Yeah. I mean, he is kind of like Lex Luthor.
Terrible person. Like, the guy literally made his employees piss in water bottles because going to the bathroom was too expensive.
Yeah, see, that's not good. You can't do that. Like, that's like, I'm not for the Reddit circle jerk, like, hating on anyone that's successful. Like, hey man, don't fucking hate the guy, because he's a shark and went out and got it. What he's doing, I don't know, man.
If my boss told me that I couldn't go to the bathroom and handed me a water bottle, I would piss on his shoes.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, so would I. So would I. That would be the end of that. Yeah, man, that's, it's one thing, you look at like a Bill Gates or Steve. It's like Steve Jobs, like he slept on like couches in college, and he'd pick up cans to go turn in for recycling to get quarters to use at vending machines. He used to go to like the nearby church on Sundays because you get a free bowl of soup. Bill Gates used to work like 120 hours starting his company. Those guys, no one needs $50 billion. But I mean, dude, if anyone, hey man, they went and got it. Like, yeah, you can hate on them all they want for having more than you'll ever have in a million lifetimes. But like, they hustled and went and got it. But I didn't know that about Bezos, dude. I didn't know that. That's okay. It's not good. Like, that's not good.
But I mean, we see that in a lot of sectors of society. Like, meatpacking plants are famous for getting OSHA violations for making their employees wear diapers.
Have you ever read Fast Food Nation?
No, I haven't. I watched their little documentary thing.
Dude, you need it. Holy shit, dude. Get that on Audible. That book is a fucking mind fuck. They talk about all the workers there. They turn the other, or I guess the overseers, the managers, they sort of turn a blind eye to smoke breaks, which are because they're going out and smoking meth. How else do you work? How else do you work 18 hours? Dude, there's stories, and then they said like they have like the lowest of the low, and apparently those are the nighttime workers. Those are they called them the sanitizers, and it's these. They said they were uneducated, illiterate, illegal immigrants. No documents, because apparently the fatality rate was something like 20%.
Right.
Literally going in and cleaning these machines, and they'd accidentally start up. Turn them into a pool of tomato sauce, like, but even now I'm thinking about what we're sitting here with our hate boners for Jeff Bezos, but like, do we care? Does it come up on our radar when it's happening in China or India?
I mean, I still get a lot of Amazon packages a week.
So do I. I mean, dude.
I mean,
this laptop is my surge protector, the laptop fans, the fucking everything that this podcast is going through is from that. Yeah, man, that's
I'm not against people having absurd amounts of wealth. I just,
neither am I. It's just
you can't be a dick because of it, you know?
it's yeah, yeah, it's like have you ever seen that meme? Well, we'll end on this note, but hey man, I'll say the meme, but I'll say we should definitely if you want, we should definitely do another one sometime, man. Just shoot the shit, talk about
Yeah, for sure.
whatever the fuck we want. Um, but you ever seen that meme where it's like we don't need we don't how about we just don't have a president and it just says like 2020 like don't be a dick. It's just
Yeah,
like, it's
that's
just like what if everyone was just like hey just don't be a dick. Just
absolutely.
yeah, but that doesn't work. That's why you got to have tanks and
No,
missiles
because
and
people
bombs.
are intrinsically dickish.
Yeah, and it's dude, it's the I think the sad truth is that the world is a zero sum game, and if you're not at the top with your boot on someone else, I think you just trade spots, and I
Yep.
think it's terrible. Like I'm not happy about it. It's not like fuck yeah, subject the brown people, no,
Right.
like, but am I willing to pass up my ability to go get a chair at Walmart for $40?
Well, yeah, we're such little pussies when it comes to things like that.
Yeah,
Like,
we love to
I feel like
rage.
the majority of us would be fine with what's happening if it meant the temperature in our house didn't go up 6 degrees.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, coronavirus coronavirus is only a bitch because now like I can't go to the gym. It's not
Right.
like it's not like I don't have clean drinking water. It's not like I don't it's like we're getting like we've all got like a free trial of struggle light, like diet struggle. Like
Yeah.
we
No,
got
100%. Like, my biggest concern with life right now is I can't go to a bar and
yeah,
pay somebody 4 times what a beer cost anywhere else for a
yeah.
beer.
Just to sit at a bar and a dimly lit room and talk to friends. That's the struggle. That's our had a guy on yesterday when we were talking about we're like this is our war. This is our greatest generation. This is our D-Day. Like I can't go outside. But yeah, man, I'll let you go.
There we go.
Um
Sorry, I had a call coming.
no, you're good. You're good. I'll upload this and yeah, man. Definitely be down to do
All
another
right.
one sometime. Because I like having on people that I can just shoot the shit with. Like it's not always. I like having on specific guests talking about very specific
Right.
things. Sometimes nuclear power or powerlifting or whatever. But sometimes I just like to jump from
Yeah,
nuclear
I got you.
to Jeff Bezos. Yeah, man. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
let me
dude.
know.
Thanks for doing it, man.
All right. Yeah,
All right,
sweet.
brother. Stay
Have a good
safe.
one.
Peace. You too.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.